Welcome to the Emotional Balance Sheet, the go-to podcast for parents with multiple kids, especially those with twins, triplets, or more, who are navigating the maze of modern family life and personal finance. Whether you're overwhelmed by education or retirement planning, parenting dilemmas, career transitions, or trying to define your purpose and plan, we're here to guide you with empathy, encouragement, and expertise. Hosted by Paul Fenner, founder of Tamma Capital, a certified financial planner and parent to 4 kids, including a set of triplets, our podcast is your ally in the quest for financial peace of mind, proving that money matters, but family comes first. Subscribe now and join our community of empowered parents at tammacapital.com.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Tamma may retain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
What does comprehensive financial planning even mean? At Tamma Capital, it means a family office where lifestyle planning such as retirement, college, portfolio management, tax prep, and planning all are under one umbrella. But it goes beyond numbers. We focus as much on the emotional side of financial planning as we do on the financial side. We get you. We understand your challenges of building a family, business, or career, and a healthy life. We are devoted to wealth planning for families like yours because we are you. Learn how our family can help your family by visiting tammacapital.com.
Welcome back. When it comes to the beginning of a new year, predictions are all around us. It's like that Billy Mack holiday song, Christmas is all around us. But in the new year, I always think predictions are all around us. And it's not out of the ordinary to see the top 10 list of why the market will go up, the top 10 list why the market will crash. And oftentimes I will have friends, family, Tamma family clients reach out and ask specific questions on something they either heard or they read. And typically they are interested in this topic. They usually follow up with, I probably shouldn't be reading this, should I, Paul? And my answer is typically always, no, you probably shouldn't. But one thing that I've become more adamant about over the last 2 or 3 years is not making predictions. Whether it's the economy, the stock market. But what this doesn't mean is, it doesn't mean I don't have a view on the economy or the stock market. And I think one thing that people confuse is that they think the stock market and the economy are one and the same. And sometimes they are, but most times they're not. When the economy is doing good, the stock market could be doing bad, and vice versa. I mean, in recent years, COVID is a good example of that. The market went down considerably, but then bounced back. Did the economy bounce back? No, it didn't rebound as much as the stock market did. The stock market is always trying to predict the future. And trying to predict that future is a losing proposition, which is one of the reasons why I don't do it. And if somebody tells you that they know for certainty what's going to happen with the stock market, the economy, a specific company stock, my advice is always run away as fast as you can. I think when it comes to these predictions, if you will, as I mentioned, the best thing to do is to stay away from them. But they are all around you, especially if you're on social media, if you watch mainstream news. And again, you want to be an informed consumer. You want to know what's going on with the stock market. But when you step back, and I have these conversations with people on a daily basis, 1 day movements, 1 week movements, 1 month movements, even 1 year movements typically will not have that significant of impact on your long-term plan. Whether it's saving for retirement, saving for college, obviously depending upon what stage of life you're in. Really, when you're looking over the long term, and when I say long term, to me, it's 5, 10 plus years down the road. These swings from year to year, month to month, week to week are a ripple in the water. But that's really hard to visualize and to have that mindset, if you will, when the top 10 list of why the market's going to go up or the top 10 list why the market's going to crash is always in front of you. It's hard to think of that as noise when it's pushed in front of you time and time again. Why? Because that's what gets clicks. That's what sells. There's the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. And it's one of the reasons why I tend not to be on social media at all and why I no longer watch the evening news. Somebody once told me, if something major is going to happen in the world, somebody else will probably tell you about it. And that's how I feel about predictions and why I try to stay as far away from them as possible. But again, in the line of work that I do, it's a natural part of my job. And again, it's not that I don't have a view. Sometimes I have this phrase that I borrow from Carl Richards. I have strong views held loosely, which means if the circumstances change, if the data that I'm dealing with changes, then I need to be flexible. And I think that's one of the most important portfolio management strategies that I implement with the families I work with, is having that flexibility. And part of that is knowing what stage of the life a family's in, whether they're young and have a long runway or you're already in retirement and the ups and downs of the market aren't something that you can handle. And it's understanding that temperament and that understanding and aligning people's behaviors and emotions to what they value, what their purpose is, what their objectives are. That's really the secret sauce of what I do as an advisor. So, one last point, stay away from those predictions.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Emotional Balance Sheet Podcast. Please visit tammacapital.com to subscribe to this podcast or to connect with certified financial planner and registered investment advisor Paul Fenner of Tamma Capital. And please join us again next time on the Emotional Balance Sheet Podcast.
That's all for this week. We'll see you next time.